cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Time Live on the Grand Columbia channel. And it looks like we're getting a little rain today, which is awesome. And today we're going to cover a little bit of news. We're going to have a special guest on shortly. Although I see her there, but I can't see her video or her sound operating yet. So hopefully we'll get that taken care of. It's Sandy from Cuenca. But before we get started, I got a package today. Oh, hold on here. Let me change my screen. Hello from Murphy, North Carolina. Hello from Medellin. Hello from Fort Lauderdale. Did you get your message on Messenger? Maybe. I don't know. I can't look now. Buenos dias de Florida. Okay. So I got this package. So let's see what we have in this package. What do you think is in this package? What do you suppose it might be? It's got a little heart on there. Any ideas? Coffee time, coffee mug. That's pretty awesome. No green screen today. Cat tore it down. So let's, through the magic of video, Hola from Oklahoma. My step uncle was in Oklahoma, and he was some big time rodeo judge. Nice mug. Everybody should have one. I decided to get the old logo. Unlike the t-shirt, I actually like the new logo better than the older style logo. But okay. So before we go live, Sandy, you need to log in with your video. Trying snacks again. I don't know why people ask. I don't know why some people find this interesting, but another thing that I've never had, it's called Nestle's Cocoa Set Sandwich. And they look like blonde Oreo cookies. I assume they taste like coconut. No, the cookie's different. It's more like it looks like an animal cracker type of cookie. And it's got their logo on it. It's got their logo on the other side. Fascinating, right? Wow. That's some strong coconut. Hey, I can see Sandy. Hang in there. It'll be just a minute. You get your phone set up. Sandy is coming on to give us a report of what's happening in Cuenca. Yesterday we did a test run, and there were a million kids screaming in the background. So hopefully today it works out. Maybe she probably should take them out back and shoot them. But anyway, she's on vacation, and she's actually in Quito, and she's staying at a friend's house. And I guess the internet's maybe not so good, but we're going to give it a try anyway. That cookie's actually, that's not bad with coffee. It's not very sweet, but it's really coconut strong. You want a bite? Okay. Good morning, cool mug. Um, Coffee and cookies, breakfast of champions. That's a pretty good cookie. I could eat that. I like it because it really is not. It's a little sweet, but it's not very sweet. Oreo is way more sweet. This isn't anything like an Oreos. I probably shouldn't even brought that up, but I had no idea. I've never had one before. Okay, so Sandy and her sister Adriana, as longtime viewers know, uh, shared my house with me when I lived in Cuenca. We had this 3-story, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, or was it 4-bathroom, 1, 2, 3, 4-bathroom house. And it was those two, and they each have one child. Sandy's child, her name is Monster, because she's a living monster. Anyway, she's helped me with some videos in the past, and she's always been pretty entertaining. But I wanted to, see if we could take advantage of this particular software platform and bring her on to basically just tell us what's happening in Cuenca. So let's get somebody way more interesting than me on here. Hello.
Hi, hi.
Braces.
Yes.
They're new braces, and she's very self-conscious about it. So of course I have to say something right away.
It's my new look.
How's your
For
English? You
my
don't.
English?
Yeah, without me, you don't practice.
I know. It's kind of, I'm forgetting my English. I need to practice.
Yeah.
I'm like watching movies with subtitles in Spanish to learn the pronunciation, but I'm forgetting.
Well, I just, the Bolivar series has
Yes.
60 episodes.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday, I finished the last one.
See? And
Yeah, and
you
it's
like
all it's all in Spanish. It
So
was,
you can learn.
well, I liked it because it covered all the historical things. But what I didn't like about it was they made up all these characters and stories and dialogue that there's no basis for. They made us a soap opera. Of course, people in Colombia and Ecuador love soap operas, so I'm sure that's why they did it.
Sí.
If they didn't have a soap opera with all these love triangles happening, did anybody in those days ever get married? They were all having affairs.
I think so. I don't know.
Okay, so you're in Quito.
No, I am not in Quito. I am at the coast. It's a little
I thought you
town.
said you were going to Quito.
No, I stay with my parents. So you thought with my parents in Quito, but my parents are living at the coast. Like
Gotcha.
Quito is worse than other cities with the COVID, so they moved to the coast. It's a little town, small town, and I think it's seguro.
Secure.
Secure, yes.
Yeah, safe.
It's safe.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
You're freezing a little bit. So
I'm sorry.
that's why your internet's not very good.
Yes, I know. It's like the internet. It's not like a commercial brand. It's like the name of the town, .net.
.net? That's the name of the town.
No,
Okay,
no,
for
no,
those.
the internet. The town
Oh.
is Caluma. The name of the town is Caluma. It's
Oh,
in the
okay.
Bolivar province. Bolivar province.
Oh, nice.
See, but the weather is hot.
Well, you're on the coast.
Yes.
Okay, well, you keep freezing, but let's go. Tell me about Cuenca. You just left there a couple days ago, right?
Yes, I came from here maybe Wednesday because I was working presential work, but not every day. I was working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I had to leave the days. The other days I stay at home. And Cuenca, it's fine. The economy is slowly returning to normal. Like the business are beginning to recover a bit. See, you can go to the shopping. The shopping is open. The most of the places they have like biosecurity norms. I don't know how to say, like alcohol hands, temperature.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Washing your hands. Like your shoes, you have to clean. You have to clean your shoes to get into the place.
Are you
But
serious?
the most of the places, yes, but the most of the places are open.
Right, well,
But
that's
they
good.
have, yes, it's kind of because still in some places there are too much people like inside, and they are not respecting like the how do you say distanciamiento, like 2 meters
Yeah,
to go
the distance.
distance. Yes. But for
Well,
example, in my work, I have to um, I have to use my uniform, like the like bunny suit. You know, my uniform. I work at the lab, so I need plus the lab coat, and and I start work like for a month ago. They did the test. I did the test for COVID, and I am in 1 month I took 3 times the test.
Yeah.
Because they are worried for their workers at
Yeah.
in my job. Yes.
Is it the kind that goes up your nose?
What? Yes, the PCR, like with the.
Oh, so it's a lot of fun. And you're crying.
Awful. Oh, I was crying. But the last one was the blood test, but not the cassette, the antibodies test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Antibodies test was the last one because I was working on one student. I was working with her. She was positive, and the university was worried, and they say no. They closed the lab. That is the reason I'm on vacation time, because they were worried, and they say no mas. So they closed the lab, and we are starting again on September to work, but with minimum students. I was working maybe with 10 students.
See, that's pretty funny. Somebody catches COVID and they're afraid that the people in the lab might have COVID, so they close it. And then everybody's on vacation and they go all over the country to spread it.
Yeah, but I'm inside. I'm at home. No,
Oh, okay.
You know, here in Ecuador, we don't have buses like inter-province buses. So my dad went to Cuenca to take me, and he brought me here.
Brought you, yeah.
And so I am staying at home here inside the house with my sister. And with
they started our buses August 1st.
I didn't want to. What?
They started our buses August 1st.
Where?
In Colombia.
Where? There. See,
yeah,
here,
interprovincial.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have interprovincial buses.
So tell me, what do people, just average people, like your coworkers, your friends, what do they think about what's going on? Do they believe? Do they believe everything? Do they think it's exaggerated? What do people think?
You know, I have friends like kind of crazy, like, oh, the virus was creating at the lab, and like they want to do a biological war. I had to listen like too many stories about that now, and they say no. What they ask me now? What do you think? And because it's weird. I think each one has their perspective
Yeah.
about, because, for example, a friend told me like, oh, what do you think? You are studying a lot at the lab. Do you think the virus was created by the lab at the lab?
Yeah.
And I say, maybe I was reading, but it's not. There are too many how do you say teorías? How do you say? I don't know,
Stories.
like stories about the
Yeah.
about the how to start the virus.
You need to center
I'm
your.
reading about the. See, sorry, I don't have a table here.
There you go.
The house is small. I'm sorry.
Well, it kept showing only half of your face.
How about it? It's
That's
better
good.
or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
See, I'm sorry. I'm taking my phone with my. I don't have
So
a base
people's
for my cell
opinions
phone.
are similar here and similar in the United States. Some people think it's a conspiracy. Some people think it's exaggerated.
Yes.
Some people think it's everybody's going to die.
Yes.
Yeah,
See, it's like maybe you have to read like scientific news. Like
yeah,
respaldadas. I don't know how they say.
yeah. I've been reading too much of it for the last 2 months. It gives me a headache now. So tell
See,
me,
like. Um,
what do you think is worse, the virus or the problem with the economy?
Oh, maybe the economy, I think, because too many countries are working for the vaccine, and we maybe it's going to be 1 2 years more, 3 years, but the economy, people are now. I know many people are without not working. They are not working. They have to go to the street to sell something, and people are not buying because they are afraid,
Yeah,
and they are living or sleeping under the bridge. And Cuenca, I don't know, it was a new
oh, under the bridges.
sleeping bridge. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And
A lot of
I
Venezuelans used
have
to.
Venezuelan friends. Yes, I have Venezuelan friends, and for example, I went to visit them, and they are only eating like twice a day, and I was, oh, like they eat breakfast like 11 and lunch maybe 4, and they don't have to eat dinner. So
I, I found out there's.
it's
I know people here in Armenia, and I have one friend who has been very helpful sometimes when I do a video or something. Um,
mhm.
we talk a lot, but I found out through another friend that her and her family had not eaten for 3 days. She didn't say anything because they feel terrible about the situation, but they had no food and hadn't eaten for 3 days. It's and that's not
Yes, and
unusual. There's a lot of people that are going, like maybe once in a day or twice in a day or none. It's pretty rough. If you're not working, you don't have money.
I know, and yes, and it's too much people like that, and children are working on the street, and in Cuenca, like Venezuelans kids are selling like lollipops, candies, and it's like they living on the street, like being with children there.
When do you go back to Cuenca?
And so the economy is going. What?
So when do you go back to Cuenca?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat, please?
Okay. Well, the internet connection
The next
is terrible.
Wednesday. I only
Next
have
Wednesday.
1 week off.
Okay, so
I know.
I'll have you
Next
back
Wednesday. I'm going to Cuenca.
next Sunday. I'll have you return next Sunday because you'll have a good
Okay.
internet connection. Okay?
See, I'm sorry for my
Okay.
internet.
It's okay. So I'll see you next Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Ciao.
Okay.
Well, hope you guys could make that out. I was more interested in what people's opinions were, and compare to here, and then compare to people that I know in the United States, and it seems to be all pretty similar. Sandy's still working at the dentist office. No, she ended up getting her dream job. She works at the university in the science lab. And how do I get a hold of Adriana? I believe you said she's a lawyer. Yes, her sister Adriana is a lawyer. And that must be the message you were talking about. I think I saw that like at 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and then fell back asleep and forgot all about it. She is a lawyer, but she hasn't worked as a lawyer for the past 2 years because she works. She's some big muckety muck director in the government. Now, I don't know if she's doing cases or not, but you also mentioned in Guayaquil, I believe, and she only did any work in Quito and in Cuenca. What you really want to do is find somebody in Guayaquil. But I have a friend who lives in Guayaquil that may know somebody that can help you out. So send me an email. Don't send me a message. Send me an email. And I see you're on YouTube. So if you look at the information area below this video, you'll see all kinds of information, and it includes my email. Send me an email. Give me an idea of what it is that you're looking for. I'll get a hold of my friend and see if she can find something to help you out. So I hope that helps. Because I'm getting messages here, this internet must be functioning. So that's good. I've had some issues with this new platform, of course, and so I was a little concerned with it. I'm going to show you a short clip of this week in Armenia. It's just some clips. I don't think it's about a minute. And then I'm going to go over the news headlines, and then we're going to go to questions and answers like we do every week. All right, here we go. Oh, that's not it. Oh, I can't show you the clips. I put a I put a Shakira song to it that was perfect for it, but YouTube won't allow that. Sorry about that. All right, well, let me show you this. This was outside my balcony yesterday. I think every weekend now you've got people coming by playing 3 or 4 songs, looking to raise some money for, groceries, but certainly is entertaining. All right, let me get to the news. Let me see which is the. Here we go. Okay. We're going to start with a big headline here. Russia produces first batch of Sputnik 5 vaccine against coronavirus. The vaccine showed its effectiveness and safety. According to the results of clinical trials, all volunteers developed immunity against COVID-19, while no serious side effects were recorded after vaccination. The vaccine could guarantee immunity to COVID-19 for a period up to 2 years, according to the Russian Ministry of Health. So that's pretty interesting. It's big news here in Colombia, and I think I read somewhere that they had pledged batches to Colombia, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how that works out. You know, you can't help but be skeptical, but on the other hand, Russia has always been ahead of the curve of most countries when it comes to things like medical. So it's very possible. Okay. With the reopening of LA then, that's the airport here in Armenia, the economy in Armenia would take off. Well, that's absolutely true because it would bring people back through. Of course, the key to that is whether they get rid of this mayor wakes up and, you know, stops blocking everything. She's only been in office for a very short time, a matter of a few weeks, and she's been a total disaster. And I'll use the word colluded with other people, other towns here in Quindío, and they've actually closed the borders of Quindío. So while the buses are running in Quindío, they're not. So you could take a bus from Cali to Medellin, but you can't escape Armenia. And it's crazy because, you know, this department or state or whatever you want to call Quindío has some of the lowest numbers from the beginning to now of anywhere in the country. But they're acting like, you know, the Ebola is hit. It's crazy. And they've got curfews. And then I talked last week about the protest that went on, and she reversed her order on the no home deliveries, things like that. But there's still a curfew, and a lot of things are banned. So, you know, we still have that to contend with. Yeah, what else we have here? Due to the pandemic, the Colombian economy collapsed 15.7%. Personally, I think that might be a little optimistic, but compared to last year, that's what it's saying. So these are national numbers, the GDP, but there's always a lag on that kind of information. So it's probably correct as of the numbers that they have, but you've probably got a 3 to 6 month lag. It's considerably worse, I would say, than that. But, we'll see. But if they don't open things up soon, it could get to the point where it's irreversible and you start having public demonstrations and who knows what kind of chaos can come after that. So they really need to stick with the September 1st deal for the airlines and let's move on. And the other news item here, this is actually big news here because there's so little crime, and this is in all of Quindío. Prosecutor's office charged 5 people with different crimes. You had one that was for domestic violence. He used a motorcycle helmet and a knife, and he was caught for domestic violence. And who else? You had one for theft. They on the back of a motorcycle, and they had a gun. They intimidated and threatened the victim, and took 450,000 pesos from him. He didn't have any more money. They were angry at that, so they hit him in the head. So they're going to jail. You had another that in Colima, which is a really upscale neighborhood, but they had a knife and they approached this lady, stole her cell phone, and during the struggle, she was hurt, not seriously, and the villain was 18 years old, and of course they caught him. They've been pretty good at catching these crimes. Maybe they finally have something to do. They're just really, despite what you hear a lot of people say, there is not a lot of crime. But let me clarify that. In some of the very poor barrios where you have a lot of drug operations going on, just like you would have in Detroit or New York, in certain areas, you have a lot of people out there selling weed and whatever to people. It's those things here in Armenia, they're like a local thing. They're loan sharks, or they're going to sell weed, and they're doing it to the people in their own neighborhood. It's not like they're, spread out or this big mafia thing. Now, within that neighborhood, you could call, like a drug gang or something like that. But they're, mostly neighborhood kids and or younger adults, and they're doing it as a business. And the crimes that they commit tend to be against themselves. And so here they'll talk about it, but it's almost like it's a different thing. It's a different thing when you go out and reach out to people outside of that circle and, steal their cell phone or whatever. I think here the attitude is, okay, one drug dealer stabbed another. Well, good, they deserve it. So good or bad, right or wrong, that's the kind of stuff that I hear. And what else? Driver of a brewing company was in the area delivering some orders, and they stole 1,200,000 pesos worth of product. And last one was in Calarca. This guy, he had fake ID and a fake driver's license. And with all the road checks going on right now, that's pretty stupid. So he was at a checkpoint, showed his ID. They knew right away, and they hauled him off to jail. So, the moral of that story is don't use fake ID. So that's it for the headlines this week. I mean, there's some other things, but those are the ones that I would say are of any kind of interest. And let me look through the comments, and then we're going to get to some questions. All right. How are you supposed to get the tips down to the street entertainers? You're supposed to go down there. Everybody doesn't live where I live. There's a lot of, where they're playing, people are pretty close to them. It's just that the music's loud enough and there's a straight shot up to my building. So they're not really playing from my building. New World Order. I heard Ecuador open theirs. Where's my $? Question mark. Okay. Philip, are you Taco Phillips? Okay. So let's get on with the questions. It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Okay, let's go for it. While I'm waiting for your questions, yesterday we had our first members-only video chat, and members of a certain level got on. It's hard to put it together to appease everybody, but we had six people show up, which is actually a great number. More would have been, I think, problematic. But we had 6 people, so there are 3 on the top half and 3 at the bottom half on this screen. And, they could mute their mic while everybody was talking, but except for one guy, there was a lot of noise in the background, but for everybody else, it worked out pretty well. And it was an interesting call. On my end, there were some technical issues and it was a little frustrating, but the people that were on the call, they're not immersed in some of that. And, they thought the call was pretty good. For a first call, it was okay. I think it could be a pretty valuable thing. And the nice part is because it's not public and because it's not, stored in YouTube or whatever, I don't have to worry about it being taken down or threatening my channel. We can talk about anything that we want to talk about. Because obviously there's topics here that, I'm not going to talk about in public. I'm not going to respond to for one thing or for one reason or another. But there, it's a kind of a forum where you can just open up and just, say whatever we want to say. Okay, so what do we got here? Australian is now using a generic drug to treat COVID that works. USA has been using various things also. In order to get a student visa to stay long-term because I can't qualify for a retirement visa, any idea what it would cost per month to go to school to qualify for the student visa? No, I have no idea. I know that they changed the laws for that in 2017, and they made it a little bit stricter. Before you could have almost anything considered a school. Now it has to be a particular type. So I don't know what that is. I know there's people, still doing it. They didn't preclude doing it. They just kind of tightened up a little bit. And those, when it comes to specific visa questions, I never really can answer those because there's so many caveats, and I can't address them. I can't address them here. So even if I know, I don't want to definitively say that because somebody's particular situation could make it different. But what I will suggest to you is go to the website medellinguru.com. He's got a ton of good and current visa information. As a matter of fact, he just did one in this past week, updating everything to as of now. And I was reading through it because you had people saying that earlier this year there's going to be all these massive changes and it's going to be so difficult and all the prices went sky high. And so I went through, and it's just like I had said that there's always talk. There's always legislatures talking about passing this law or that law, but it means nothing until it's actually done. And they didn't do it. The things that were proposed never did happen. I had, way back then, I had an issue with a video that came out talking like it was actually happening. And I had a problem with that because you're scaring people for something that will probably never even happen. And it didn't happen. A couple of the fees did go up, but they were very small. Like there was one fee, I think it was 430,000 pesos. It went up to 450,000 pesos, went up 20,000 pesos, a few dollars. So, a few fees did, sneak up a little bit as you would expect, but and nothing that would phase you. It's still easy. It's still cheap. Go to that website. I highly recommend that website. It's one of the few places on the internet that has pretty real information about Colombia. He does a really good job. And as I mentioned before, once in a while, I'll spot something that, wait, that's not right. But in both cases, I sent him a message and he corrected them that day. So he's really trying to have, current valid information. He does a great job. He does the best job of anybody I know. I'm very impressed with the guy. I've written him a number of times to come on here. I think it would be awesome to do an interview, but he never responds to that. I don't think he wants to be on live video. which I understand. A lot of people are like that. Okay. I meant about my sign. I'm confused here. Language. For the visa language course. Yeah, that can do it. There's people currently doing that, but it has to be, something official. It can't be, well, I met this person and they're going to give me a one-on-one thing. It has to be like at a university or a language school. So yeah, it's still there. It's still available, but you're going to have to check out the details. What is the minimum age to qualify for a retirement visa? It is a permanent visa, or does it have to be renewed? Again, you're back to specifics, but essentially, if you're receiving a pension, you're of retirement age. You're retired. So, do they have a specific age? Like, do you have to be 60 or 65? I honestly don't know. It didn't. I don't think that's the case. I wasn't of retirement age when I retired in Ecuador, and they're far stricter than in Colombia. They're way stricter. They required so much stuff. It was such a nightmare getting a visa there. And it was an issue. If you're retired, you're retired. And so there was nothing there. And I don't remember there being anything here either, but I might be wrong on that. Again, when it comes to these visa questions, I'm going to hedge around it. And a lot of it, I just don't really know because I know that I'm not going to be talking any more than the couple videos I've already done. I grew up in Armenia and then moved to the States. The more I watch your videos, the more I think I'm retiring in Armenia when the time comes. Thank you. I love that you're watching these videos and the information, because I'm sure you have, friends or family here. And I'm very proud of the fact, with all the deficiencies that I have, I'm very proud of the fact that I do put out good, accurate information. And a lot of it's my opinion, but it's a learned opinion. It's, I'll ask other people's opinion. I don't lightly throw something out. I actually think on before I form an opinion. And for you to say that, I appreciate it. Just kind of reinforces, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to let you guys know what it's really like. As long as Colombia produces their own food, I don't see how food prices would be affected. Well, they could be affected for a lot of reasons, but so far, prices have been pretty stable. I'm very glad to see it. A couple things have eked up a little bit. I noticed the milk, the particular milk that I buy, went up about 1,000 pesos. And that's a pretty good jump. But I don't know if that's a fluke or what. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the same as it's been. As a matter of fact, a lot of things are cheaper because you're seeing quite a bit of specials. You're seeing a lot of packaging. So if you buy this and this, well, I'll give you an example. This isn't really one of them, but I mentioned milk, so it's on my mind. And I'm shooting from the hip here. If you buy 2 liters of milk, you'll get a package of Oreos with it. They're packaging things up so that it's a discount, but it's allowing them to move inventory. And that's something you don't normally see here in Colombia. Once in a while, but not so much. But now you're seeing it a lot. If you go on the Rappi site for home delivery, you're going to constantly find various bargains. Like I mentioned to somebody on Facebook, they were showing these donuts in Cuenca, Ecuador, and they're delivering, and it was like a big deal because it's hard to get baked goods in Cuenca is very difficult to get good ones because of the altitude. It's very problematic. So anyway, they said that, and I said, well, as a matter of fact, here in Ecuador, you got Dunkin' Donuts that has this ongoing special. You buy 6, you get 12. So in other words, they're half price. And it's pretty cheap to buy a dozen donuts delivered to your door. I did it once. I don't dare do it again. Half of them went stale, but every bite, I mean, I'm a fat boy, and every bite I'm feeling so guilty, but I don't know. I had a craving, and it was like, just a few dollars delivered. I said, yeah, let me give it a shot. I have it with my, whoops, there goes that keyboard. I have it with my coffee. Yeah. Why do I have two of the same cups? Well, I have two of the same cups because the first cup never arrived. And I wrote and gave them hell. I said, how can I, sell merchandise if there's going to be these issues? Well, apparently it wasn't really an issue with them. It was a fluke. But we're so sorry, and they immediately sent out another cup, and they both arrived on the same day. So now I've got two of the same cups. Also, this is another T-shirt. So I got two T-shirts and two mugs for the price of one of each, because the logo here, it's what is it? Screen print, I think they call it, but it was smeared a little bit. It didn't look good, and I was not impressed with that. And so they sent me another one. This one's perfect. One thing I always say, a little plug on this mug, is I thought this logo would be on it, but they put it on the cup, and then they put this clear over it and then bake that on, which is very cool. So it'll never scratch off or come off. I didn't expect that. I guess cup technology has come a long way, but you used to get mugs and you could take a knife and scratch the things off. But anyway, other questions? Lots of buffering. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not seeing it here, but I'm not impressed with this software platform. I'll probably go back to OBS soon. Do you know if the public grade in high schools in Armenia are any good? The education system here is, how do I say this? It's similar to the education system when I went through school. It seems that in the U.S., to compare, there's a lot of thought exercises that don't occur anymore. Critical thinking doesn't seem to be part of the curriculum. But here it's that older style education system. The people that I meet that have been through the high school and the university are very well spoken, intelligent, obviously educated. So do I know the stats on it? No, but I'm impressed from the results of whatever that education system is. Again, I'm not going to pretend to know something I don't. I mean, I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked up, where do they rank in the world or anything like that. But I can tell you that I've been to other places that high school graduates seem like they're just ignorant. They didn't seem to know anything. And when I have conversations with people here, they're knowledge based. It's like they take the time to learn, to talk about topics. So hard to describe what I'm saying. It's bothering me here. I got a big coffee spill. But you'll have to look that up yourself, I guess. Lots of buffering. Video and audio perfect and continuous here. Okay, well, that means the signal going out is okay, so the buffering has to be on your end. Sorry to say. You might want to refresh your browser. That'll do it sometimes. Okay, do we have any other questions? If not, we can call it a day. I got this nasty coffee spill here. I've worked hard to get over being OCD. That was something that afflicted me my whole life. And I never minded it because in what I was doing in business, it was actually an asset. It was a good thing to have. But it started driving me crazy when I ended up in bed and, I couldn't go do things. Something would be crooked and I couldn't go set it right, and it would just drive me up a wall. And so I worked very hard at learning not to be like that. But sometimes, like this coffee spill here, I'm climbing the walls. I can't ignore it. It's there. And I got nothing around to clean it up with. It just reminds me there's always more work to do. What percentage of the population of Armenia speaks English? What about Pereira? I have no idea the percentage, but I can tell you this about it. If you go out and walk around and meet up with 20, 30 people, you probably find a couple that can speak English enough to understand. You're going to find everybody that has a touch of English because it's in the schools. But, like a lot of things, if they're not interested, they don't really pay attention. They didn't really learn much, but they might know a couple phrases or something. The English language for the past couple years has been pushed heavily by the Colombian government because it's a language of success. It's a language of pulling yourself out of financial problems. And so and Colombia is a big tourist destination, and a lot of people speak English. Even in Europe, you have people of, French that will also speak English. I mean, English is the second language of the world. And I mean, all pilots speak English. You may not understand them. I had trouble when I was in Japan and I was flying private planes, and at the airport, you couldn't understand what the hell they were saying. It was English. You hear other pilots calling into the tower. The tower people were pretty good, but anyway, I'm off topic as usual. But when I lived here before, close to 20 years ago, nobody spoke English. That's how I met my ex-wife. She was assigned to me as a translator because nobody spoke English. I had a job, a temporary job for the Colombian government for the university system. And she had learned English, but she had learned it from a Colombian who really didn't know English, and I didn't understand anything that she said. So it was absolutely worthless to me as far as that goes. But we ended up eventually, over time, we ended up getting married. But it didn't matter back. It didn't exist back then. And now you'll find people speaking English in surprising places. I had a delivery call me the other day, and he had a question on something, and I didn't understand him because the phone, it glitched out. And I, without thinking, I said in English, can you repeat that? And that was stupid. And so he starts talking in English. It was broken. It wasn't great. And the thing is, I would have understood him. It wasn't because of the Spanish. It was because of the phone. I just didn't catch it. But he instantly started talking English to me. And so you'll find it in the strangest of places that you wouldn't expect. So it's here. It's certainly not most people, but you'll find it occasionally. So I think the real question is, if I come here and I don't speak Spanish, am I going to survive? And I'll say absolutely yes. But what I would say is find somebody and make friends. Make some friends. They're going to know somebody that speaks English. If you're coming to Armenia, hook up with me and I'll find somebody, that can go around with you, that can, keep you out of trouble. And we talked about that on that members call the other day about some things that can be done in that situation. I personally wouldn't let it hold me back. Well, it didn't, never has. I don't worry about things. I just kind of jump in with both feet. But yeah, Sandy, I was thinking Sandy is one of the reasons I never learned, because she always wanted to practice her English. But it's definitely good to know Spanish. and I'm glad the more that I know, the happier I am with it. But I was pretty damn happy before too. So, are you able to put Colombian made products on your store? No. If you mean for my merchandise, no, I can't. It's kind of problematic. I had to find somebody in the U.S. that could drop ship. So I never see the products unless, I order them up because, well, it's just too complicated. I don't want to go into it now, but there's a lot of issues that I would have to go through, and I'd have to register as a business, and it would be a nightmare, and I ultimately couldn't do it. I looked into it. I thought about doing it. I actually had a print place lined up and all kinds of things, but just it wasn't going to work. Sandy and her sister were from Ecuador, but well-spoken, intelligent, and educated. Well, they are very educated, very well-spoken. They come from a great family. They're kind of traditional people. They speak the traditional Spanish. What is my phone keeps talking. It's got like a Siri type thing going on, and I don't even have it. It's an Android, and I never used such a thing, but somehow I must have accidentally clicked it on. I think how easy is it depends on how you are, how easily you get flustered. If if you find problems in a lot of things, if you have a certain level of patience, it's no big deal. One mistake that people make when they're fairly new here, and I'm going to caution you on this, is they suspect everybody, and they don't want to be taken for a fool. They don't want to be ripped off, even if it's for a dime. And I don't blame them. I feel the same way. But the mistake they make is if they don't understand something, they automatically assume that somebody's getting them. And I made the mistake, and I should know better. I mean, I've traveled throughout my life. I've lived in a bunch of different countries. And I tell you that a couple years ago here in Armenia, on one of my visits, I made the very same mistake. And afterwards, I felt so bad. I spent days trying to find this taxi driver. I think I've told you guys this before, but I took a taxi ride and I got out, and he wanted, I don't know, I'll say 4,000 pesos. And the meter said 2,800 pesos. And I refused to pay him. I said, no, you're not going to rip me off. And then later I realized he was talking about it's a minimum charge, and he wasn't ripping me off. And I felt I carry that scar as of today. I mean, I can't imagine what he thinks of me, but it reinforced to me that lesson, reminded me of things that I already know. Never assume that they're trying to get you unless you actually know they are, because there's too many things that you may not understand. And you have to have patience to not jump to that conclusion and kind of work through it. Things will come up now and then, but for the most part, transactions are pretty basic and it's not that big a deal. But that's what I would say. And if it's going to be a transaction that's maybe a little more complicated, like I need to go down and sign a contract for my internet, take somebody with you that can help you with that. Don't be afraid to do that. 26 years ago when I lived in Armenia, very few people spoke English. Nowadays, when I go back, I find a lot of people speak English. Exactly. That's exactly right. Back when I was here, of course, how many people did I actually talk to? But I never found anybody in Pareda or in Armenia that spoke in English. I'm sure there were some, but they were needle in a haystack back then. And now, every day you go out, you're going to bump into somebody that can speak a little bit of English, it seems. I pray Colombia stays well. English isn't even the USA's national language. It's not? What is? Oh, a joke. Okay. All right. I think we got through those. What time is it? We're right on time. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so we're going to call this a wrap for today. I thank you. I saw quite a few people logged in today. That was very nice. Next week, hopefully, we'll get Sandy in, and she'll have some real internet out there on the coast. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's in Ecuador, and it's actually probably surprising she even has internet out there. So that's it for today. Thank you. Thanks for all the people that do contributions and help the channel along. I greatly appreciate it. If you are a member, please make sure that you get with me so that you can be in on the next call. I think I sent notice off to everybody. And if you're not a member, consider joining. You can do that on the website. There's a place there. I recommend going through that even over the member on YouTube, although they both work. So that's it for today. Thanks for another coffee time with me, and I will see you next week.